Good evening and hello and welcome to Swinging from the Hip. We're up to additional episode number 30. So you're welcoming you back for your cricketing fix for the week. And tonight on Swinging from the Hip, we'll be looking at the IPL final. Just get our thoughts on that and where we thought it headed and how it panned out. We'll have a look at a few of the stats from IPL 2020. A few fun ones there too to chuck in there. Plunkett Shield, we'll have a look at what's happening in the latest round of Plunkett Shield before they go for the big break and they go to the shorter formats of the game. And we'll check out what's happening in the PSL, which is the Pakistan Super League. And we're coming around to finals time in that as well. So the final coming up for there, and we'll see who's made it through to that final. And finally, and if we haven't waffled on too long, and we'll just go over the WBBL trophy table that's been played at the moment. And I think you'll be surprised to know there are already 10 matches in. So it's zoomed along, that competition has. So without further ado, welcome in tonight. Who's back with me again is Sharubin, and welcome back, sir. How are you doing?
Very good, Ashwin. Hello, viewers, and hello, Ash. Good to be here.
Good. Oh, that's good to have you back again. Always, it's great when there's somebody there to talk to.
Talk, talking
Right.
cricket with a whiskey, you can't get better, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was just like, come on, guys. Right,
Yeah.
well, we'll move right into it, and absolutely. So, as I mentioned, we're looking over the final for the IPL 2020, and Mumbai Indians and the Delhi Capitals. Your team made it to the final, and
Mm,
sort of basically really didn't get off to a good start from the first ball, and it wasn't their night
no,
with the wicket the very first ball of the game. How did you
yeah,
feel? Oh, and did you watch the game or did you see it afterwards?
yeah, yeah. No, I taped it and watched the whole thing.
Yep.
So replay. I watched the replay, and
Okay, so before we go on,
yeah,
when you tape it. Look at us old boys
mm,
talking about taping a game.
yeah.
Getting the VHS in there and hitting the record button. When we do that, do you know the result before you sit down to watch?
No,
You sit there as it's live, okay? So
that's
you're
a
going through
yeah.
the emotions without knowing
Mm.
what the result is.
Yeah, look, it's just the fact that it's on at 2:30. It's just too hard on the
Oh
next
yeah,
day.
absolutely.
But, you
Absolutely.
know,
No, you
but
hit the old
yeah,
record button on the My Sky, don't you?
that's right. And I drop the kids off, come back, and get myself sorted, and sit there and I watched it. And look, it was a hell of a game.
Yep.
Mumbai, for me, the summary was Mumbai was just too good, and the difference was Mumbai had been there at least four times, if not more, because they
Experience.
won it four times.
Yep.
And they knew how to play the final, and they'd been there before, so they knew about it. And Delhi didn't, and that was probably the difference. But and it was from ball one,
Ball
like a
one. That's it. That's it. A good old Kiwi
corker.
Trent Bolt coming in there.
Yeah,
And I mean,
and to me,
yep.
yeah, it was a bit mixed because I love Trent Bolt. What a champion guy he is. So he got the wicket, and I was like, yeah, that's not a good start for us. But Trent Bolt got it, so it's kind of okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
so I
like
know. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yep,
yeah,
absolutely. And that's just like,
uh,
what did you think? I mean, like, was it an unplayable delivery, or do you sort of think, oh, geez,
uh,
just those? Was it the nerves sort of actually played into that
yeah,
as well?
I
Because I
think
mean,
so.
it was a
And
good ball. Don't get me wrong, it was
yeah,
a good ball. It was a good ball, but
yeah,
not something that was you'd sort of expect to get a first ball,
yeah. I
a
don't
wicket
know.
on the
Look,
first ball.
yeah, I mean, who you can talk about, ifs and
Hindsight.
buts, and could you have done it? Hindsight, yep. And
Mm,
I personally, for me, Shikhar Dhawan would have been better to take that first ball purely because he is an opener, whereas
Stoinis ain't.
Marcus, no, he's not. And the thing is, it was a good nut, and I looked like he was looking for it to come back in, but it didn't.
Yep,
It just
yep.
kept
It just
going,
carried on
you
going.
know,
Yep,
because he looked
yep.
like he was like this, and then just took the outside edge. So yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things. If he'd got a little bit more on it, it might have gone over, and and that's cricket for you. It's just fine margins at the moment with the way things go, and
Oh, it is. Fine margins are massive, and it's just like,
yeah,
but an interesting point that you just made, and it's sort of like you would have thought that Shikhar Dhawan, being the actual opener, would have
mm,
started and faced up. Now, I don't know. I can't recall now. I had this conversation with my son quite ironically during his
Mm,
game, and
yeah,
batting pair went in, and one of the boys he went on basically because the other guy was still getting ready as they do,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and he went to the non-strikers end, and my son goes to
Right.
me, "Oh wow, why didn't he go strike first? He would be striker
Yeah.
first." And he goes, "Look, just because you're an opener doesn't mean that you want to face the first ball."
Mm,
So, do we
yeah.
know if Shikadawan, like if he normally is playing
Mm,
in the opening pair, is he the guy that says, "No, no, you take the first ball," or
yeah.
is he the guy
I
that
think,
says, "No, I want to take the first ball"? Do we know?
well, because Prithvi Shaw, who's his usual opening
Yep.
partner, he generally takes first snap.
Right.
So he might, so Dhawan might be one of those guys who says, "No, I'd rather be at the
I'll watch
non-strikers."
that
And there
first
are
ball from the
people,
other end.
absolutely, and there are people I know for a fact that some people do that and some people
Hmm.
don't. You know, some people
Yes,
are happy to
absolutely.
take the first snap, and
Yep.
some people go from the non-strikers end. So maybe it was what it is. But then for me, Rahane was the big one because, like, as soon as they lost that first wicket, I think Rahane went in as
Yes.
a calming influence, and he did calm it down. And then he was out bloody getting a little bet to the keeper,
Right.
and that's a really unlucky one, really. But
Just off the
again,
gloves.
I mean, things when it's not going for you, it's
Uh,
not going for you.
And
You know,
as we go back to us, like when it starts from the first ball of the day.
yeah, that's right. But then they played really well. Then
Yeah.
Dhawan
Look,
and the skipper Iyer played beautifully for ages. So they had it in them, but
I'll
every
bring up the old.
time they did well.
Oh, hang on.
Um,
I know what I haven't done. Oh, you carry on talking, and I'll just carry on
yeah,
doing something else on the side.
for sure. And every time Delhi got in there, what's his name, Mumbai just made something happen, and again it was another wicket, or something else happened, and it just went like that. And yeah, I think that's right. That's
I think
right.
when we look
They've
at that
that,
scoreboard, well, yeah, sorry.
yeah. Sorry, yeah. So that's what happened. So there was Stoinis, then Rahane, and then you had Yadav come in for an over, and that was a definite. So Yadav got picked because he's an off spinner, and there's so many left-handers in the
Delhi
Delhi
squad.
lineup, and he came on to specifically get Dhawan, and he did in his first over, which was again, just things that they planned came to fruition. And I've actually seen some. I mean, being Sri Lankan, I've seen some videos of Mahela Jayawardene and what a brilliant coach he is, and all these videos going around on Facebook and everywhere else, and people sending it to me, obviously, because I mean I'm a coach and Mahela's a coach and we're Sri Lankan,
Yep,
and that
yep,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. There's an affinity
And
there.
yeah, and they say that he plans meticulously for all these matchups. So
Yep.
Dhawan's a massive thorn in their side, to get him out. So Yadav was picked to specifically get him out rather than that leg spinner who would have been coming into him rather
Coming
than
into him. Yep, going away.
than going away. And Yadav, but he bowls a very good change of pace with his offies, and he nailed it. And then they had to Iyer and Pant had to do a rescue job, and they did. They
They did.
played
They did a pretty good
beautifully,
job in the middle there.
very good. But again, they just couldn't get away again.
Mm,
They just
mm.
had to finish. Like 156 to me is a good total, but it's not. You
It's a
can't put pressure with that.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a par. It's like sort of like a par score. You might say
Big
just a
time.
little bit more than par because it's a
Yes,
final, so you got scoreboard
that's
pressure with the
right.
final. But
That's
other than
right.
that, and we're going to come to
No,
this in a sec in terms of like if the second team batting second gets away to a good start, it just becomes a normal par score, doesn't it? And
big
that's what
time.
actually transpired.
Yeah,
Mumbai comes in and got away to a pretty good start themselves.
yeah, absolutely. And you would expect either Pant, Hetmeyer, or Aksa to
Oh,
actually
bang
get
on.
it. Yeah, like I mean,
Yeah,
Hetmeyer and Aksa, you would expect them to get a quick 20 or 25 because they
yep,
do that really well. But again,
yep,
they couldn't do that. So,
yep.
it was just, and Bolt came, oh, that was a nut as well. He came in and he bowled a slower ball bouncer. and Hetmeyer just wanted to hit everything. And so they just, like, it comes back to that planning. They looked at each batter, or they picked, if this guy gets picked, if this guy plays, this is what we're going to do to him at this time, kind of
Who's
thing.
bowling to who?
That's right. The matchups, as we call it. And I think Mumbai did that
So
much better. You know.
So effectively, what you're saying is that it's obviously we look at the game and you look at the runs, and effectively Mumbai did get to it in the quite comfortably, but really it comes
Mm.
down to the level of planning that Mumbai's done
Oh yeah,
for this final game and the
yeah,
approach that they've taken to the game itself.
big time. And the fact that they got those, like Bolt nailed it. You know.
Yep. Yep. They
Um,
executed. They didn't.
that's
You can have a
right.
plan, but you don't execute it. The plan's not worth
No,
anything.
that's it. But having said that, Delhi didn't lose a wicket to Bumrah,
Yep.
which was an achievement. They made sure, because last time they played him, I think Bumrah got 3 or 4 or something, and killed him everywhere.
Yep.
So I think Delhi also did do well, but not enough for me, because the way the Mumbai openers came in, and I'll tell you, the one that surprised me was Kultanal, because he hasn't played much, but he got two wickets, and
Yep.
he only went for 29, which was a pretty good
Good
effort
return.
considering. Yeah, and he
Yep.
he sort of said, the other guy, the real speedster, he was playing the Aussie speedster. They're obviously very close, Aussie pace
Yep.
bowler. And he said, "Oh, I think he should have played, but I got to go, and I did okay," kind of thing. And
Did
you
okay,
know,
yeah. Picked up a couple of
that's
wickets,
it. That's
Went for
it.
a
But
fairly economical 29.
that's right, which is not bad. I mean, it's just amazing, this IPL for me. I mean, when you think about it, and if you go for less than 10, you're doing well. And you look
Yep.
at Pandya's gone for 10, Pollard's gone
Pollard,
for more
13.
than 10.
Yep.
And so, but then there you go, and then Bolt went for 30, but he got 3 wickets. And
But and then you bring in the fact that you mentioned Yadav. Yadav, they brought
oh
him in ahead of the leggy.
yeah,
Oh sorry. And and
yes,
um and he comes in and performs. In
big
a
time,
crunch match, brought into the
big
game and he
time.
performs. Yeah.
And that's bloody good. 1 for 25 and 4, and he bowled a couple of overs in the power play,
Power play.
if not at least one, and that's big. That's big to come there and perform like that. That's big, and for me, those guys should, they don't get talked about much, but imagine playing the whole season of the IPL, not taking part, but keeping yourself up in case you get an opportunity. You get an opportunity in the final because of an exact matchup, and then you
Yep.
nail it.
You nail it.
To me,
Yeah.
that's big, man. That's
Yep.
that shows to me a good culture in the squad. It
The
shows.
fact that the players that aren't getting game time are able to stay up.
That's right. And that's a massive, because,
Yep.
especially this year with this COVID thing, there's not much else going on. So you are, at least you want to play,
Yep.
but you
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
play.
you're practicing, practicing, and most of your time's in your hotel room.
Mm, that's it. And,
Yep.
I mean, some of the Delhi, I'm friends on Delhi with, the Delhi capital. So
Yep.
every time a video comes out, it comes on my feed, and
Yep.
it's fantastic, some of the stuff. And they were talking about the whole fact that the mind, and how this IPL, they really had to make sure that everyone was good, because
Yep.
they could get bored, or because they're missing their family or this and that. And but they did
You have to
say,
be tight and strong.
tight, big time. And every time there was someone's birthday, these guys were partying, and they have this tradition where the birthday cake gets put on their face. It's
Yeah, yeah,
just,
yeah.
oh,
It's
bro, it's
an
so
Asian
funny.
thing, isn't it? You go and stuff it
It
in
is.
somebody's face. You cut the piece and you
It
stuff it
is.
in someone's
That's
face.
it. And it's just
Yeah.
fantastic. It's like everyone knows it's going to happen to you, So
Yeah, for the record, I did that on the weekend.
Did you? Photos, brother, photos. Nah.
So Mumbai, I mean, we better move along
Yeah.
with Mumbai, and it's like, as I said, they come in and really their top four really just laid the platform. And
Uh,
although they lost a few wickets towards the tail end of it, it was really they didn't really panic, and
no,
it was quite comfortable for them in the end, wasn't it? I mean, like an
yeah.
over and a couple of balls to spare.
Yeah. And I mean, to me, you look at the way De Kock played, he just basically, look, three fours and a six,
Yep,
in his 12 balls.
yep,
So he didn't really he got a single or a four or a six, pretty much. And
yep.
he just came at them. And look, he actually took Rabada on, and, fellow South African, but he played without fear. And to do that in a final, chasing, that's where for me, if Delhi had struck early and got the cock out really early, and then you got Sharma who's coming back from injury, he
Hmm.
had to do the hitting, then I think it might have been a bit, different. But as soon as the
Different.
cock got away, and
Yep.
then Yadav came in, run a ball, and then Kishan has been, mate, he's been supreme this year, that guy, Ishan Kishan. Like,
And to be fair, not a name that people outside of India or outside of
no,
cricketing circles would have really heard of either. But he's been
no.
amazing.
Yeah, he's been. I mean, I've just heard this from bits and pieces, but I think he was a ex India under 19 skipper, or played India under 19 and was successful at that stage, but
Right.
never quite managed it at the other end, because I think he got, he was a bit of a fancy
Yep.
pants, and he
Yep.
was very
Yep.
much a leg side player. But
Right.
they got him playing big shots on the offside in their preparation, and they kept talking about Mumbai Indians, the extent of their preparation, which was supposedly longer than any other team had done, which is again interesting, because I mean COVID's going on, and these guys are training on specific things, and again that to me is a Mahela trait. Mahela, he gets his boys playing hard, practicing hard. No excuses. I think Zahir Khan calls him a hard taskmaster, and everyone talks about that side of things. And look, I mean that guy's been successful. I mean, for me, anyone who's a successful player and then become a successful coach, mate, big respect for
Yeah,
someone like him.
absolutely, absolutely. And then it's just like
You know,
it's no surprises that if you put the hard yards and if you put the work in, the
mm,
results come. It's just
mm,
like it's like
big time.
when I say yeah, Zahir Khan saying he's a hard taskmaster. It's just like, yeah, well,
Mm.
he's a hard taskmaster, but the results are there to show for it at the end of all that hard work.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely, and they had pressure on them to start with, because they're the favorites. They won it last year, so they
Yep.
had to defend it. But they to defend it, they actually attacked it to defend their title, if you know what I
And that's
mean.
why that's what we all
You
talk
know,
about at top level sports. You can't defend
yeah,
your title. You have to go out there and win it again. You have to go and attack and win it back.
on,
You can't just go and defend it, can you?
nah,
And
on the
it doesn't
money.
matter what
Yeah,
sport we're talking about. It's any
yeah,
sport. Is that the fact
big
is that if
time.
you just think that rely on the fact that you achieved it once, you're
Mm.
setting yourself up for failure. So we'll
Yeah,
go
dare
through a
I say
couple
it?
of the
Dare
yep.
I say it? Ashwin, the exactly like the All Blacks in
All Blacks.
Argentina.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's fair comment, mate. That's fair comment. It's just like
Yeah.
that's the comments going around. Effectively, is that like
Mhm.
there's nothing that's changed there, and
No.
effectively they need to change something up. And if you keep doing the same thing,
Mm.
eventually everybody else catches up with you, or your
Yeah.
performances fall away. So
Yeah.
it's probably
To
it's a
me,
good timing on that one.
yeah. To me, it was a conservative selection, Foster, rather
Yep.
than the more
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
attacking
Exactly. Yeah.
selection,
Yep.
which was Robertson. But
Yep.
I mean, I'm all Robertson for me. I mean, Foster's, you know, good
Yep.
on him being assistant to Steve Hansen, but he's no head coach for me.
I think, yeah, look, digressing onto Tuesday and Thursday night
Mm,
show, but at the end of the day, what that
mm,
shows is the fact is that you got to have the runs on the board, for want of a term.
mm.
It's just like, and if we
Yeah,
have
I
a look at
agree.
the selection process there, you've got a coach that's successful and been successful
Mm,
at everything he touches effectively,
mm,
and a coach that is actually, when you look at and analyze his performances, what has he achieved?
Mm,
As a head coach, people will point to,
mm,
well, okay, he's picked up a World Cup, but it's like, as a head coach, what does he achieve versus
mm.
someone who, as a head coach, basically everything he touches seems
Yeah,
to turn to gold.
yeah.
So it's
Look,
like,
this is an interesting question because I heard through, and it might be not true, but I think it could be, is that Robertson didn't nail his
yep. So
interview.
that's what I'm talking about. I mean, like, and again, I mean, although we're talking about rugby here, obviously, it's no
The same
different to
thing,
any other sport. It's
same
no
thing.
different to the corporate world, in fact. And the fact is that
Yes,
you can get somebody who presents really well, knows
yeah,
their textbook really well, doesn't mean that makes them a good manager. And
yeah.
effectively, that's what
I
a coach is,
agree.
right? And it's just like, you
I
got a guy
agree.
that looks like he's oh Jesus, he just come back from a surf, and does he really want this job? And it's just like, because
Yeah,
he doesn't present well, sort of like,
doesn't
oh
mean
no,
yeah.
he gets pushed aside. And the reality is that, hang on, it's
Mm,
not about what, the fact that you can quote things in a book. It's about,
mm,
especially at management level. Again, I come to,
mm.
whether it's corporate or sports, it's really about your relationship with your staff.
With the
And
people.
in a coach's
Mm,
way, it's the players. If you
mm,
can't build that relationship with your players, or your staff,
mm.
you're not going to be a good coach, or you're not going to be a good manager.
No, no, big time. How do you get the best out of your players? Do they play for you? Those are the
Yeah,
questions
yeah,
to me that are important. Not what does this job mean to you? All that. That's all rubbish
exactly,
for me.
exactly.
To
That's it.
me,
That's it.
it's.
What are
But
the tips?
anyway,
I mean, like, digressing into coaching here, which, going back to our very early shows.
mm,
It's just like,
mm,
it's really about the fact is that, what tools do you have to be able to
yeah,
leverage that performance out of your player?
that's it.
Yeah,
Full stop.
that's it.
And my
Simple as that. There's nothing
and
else
for
to it.
me, nah. And for
You know,
me, Mahela did that so well.
that's it. And look, I
Mm,
mean, if we look at the IPL as a good example, I mean, obviously with the level that you're coaching at, there's still going to be a lot of technique work that you're working with the players. When you go to the IPL, generally speaking, these guys are there because they're capable.
mm,
You're
mm,
you're 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 working with their mental approach. You might be tweaking little things here and there
mm.
to get more
Because of the
efficient or
different
more effective,
conditions.
but
Yeah, different
you
conditions from India to Abu Dhabi and all that.
know,
Yeah.
that sort of thing, and that's the sort of thing that you're
Mm.
practicing and training on. But really, you're not. It's not skills based, is it?
No,
Not at that
not
level.
not too much. Not
No,
too much. No.
not too much. I
Yeah.
mean, if something's going
Mm.
horribly wrong, then you might take a step back and
That's
you'll get
right.
involved with that. But generally
Yeah.
speaking, it's about how you motivate your players and how do
Mm.
you get that top 2 inches working.
Mm. And T20 is a lot about letting your players play to their strengths.
Yep.
Because it's like Test cricket and T20. Test cricket, you've got to be safe. T20, you've got to take risks. That is your thing.
Calculated
But
risks.
calculated risks at the
Yep.
right time.
Yep.
And if you lose too many wickets, then you got to rein it in and
Adjust
and
your
then
adjust your game.
adjust, yeah, and then attack again later or whatever it is. But look, for me, it was a hell of an IPL season. It was,
I
from
actually
all the
think
things that we had.
it was a shame that it was obviously played with no crowds effectively, because
Yeah.
I actually think it was actually quite a I'd got a bit stale with the IPL, but I felt that
Mm,
going through this game, super overs,
mm,
tight finishes, it was a good IPL in terms of the cricket that was played.
yeah. I think that the best bit was just before the playoffs because you didn't know who was going to get in the playoffs.
No,
It was,
yep, yep,
I think
the
if you
last round,
remember
and
right,
you, yep,
yeah, last time we spoke, I think there was a definite top four, bottom four, but the bottom four teams started beating the top four,
yep,
and it became really close.
yep,
And
that's
I
right,
mean, like Chennai was one win away from making the playoffs.
yep,
And for a while they were losing everything, and then
absolutely.
all of them, Kings 11 was
Kings 11
doing
were
so
I
well.
mean, they were just like absolutely getting hammered early,
Yeah, early
and
on.
it's
And
just
then they
like, yeah,
started, and they couldn't lose.
they
And
couldn't lose.
then,
Yeah, they won 4 in a row off the top of my head.
yeah, but then they lost to Chennai when they should have beaten them and they
Yep,
might have got in the playoffs. And so,
that's right.
look, it was fine margins. So it
By
was a
margin.
really good competition. but then after that, it was a little bit, I think there was 4 more games, and that sort of took a little while to get to. But look,
That's
I
right.
think hell of a competition. Whoever's organizing it, they're doing a damn good job. And long may it continue, because it
Well,
had me. You know,
it'll be starting up
mm.
in March or May or
Pretty
something
soon,
again.
yeah.
So look, let's just
Hopefully,
quickly go through. We'll go through some
yeah.
of the stats
That's
because we
yeah.
love stats in cricket. So
Oh
KL
yeah,
Rahul, who it felt like he was number one position at the start of the
yeah,
season, and he never
yeah,
relinquished it in terms of the most runs.
yeah.
Um, Obviously, the 132 helped him, but it's not just
Mm,
132 to have remained at the top of the leaderboard and by
no,
60 odd runs. So it's not even
mm,
close, is it? Really, to
no.
Shikhar Dhawan, who
And
played
and
another extra 3 matches.
that's right. Sheikha actually got quite a few single-figure scores, and maybe even a couple of ducks. So
Yep.
when he did score, he scored well. And I
Well,
mean,
we'll have a look
yeah,
a bit later. He was the only. Oh, actually, we'll go to our next one. There we go. Where's it gone? And he's at the top of the
uh,
list with the most
yeah,
centuries, and he scored 2 centuries. So as you're saying,
yeah,
like he 200 runs there in 2 innings, and yeah, he had a couple of
yeah.
nothings as well.
Yeah, and that happens. To me, that's
Yep,
almost like a typical batsman. Like when you get in, make them pay, because
yep.
you will get some good ones early on. Some of the ones that I think, yeah, there's some of the opening bowlers. Oh, like that Yorker that Bumrah bowled to him. Oh my God, that was one of the deliveries that you'll never forget. Just nailed it.
We'll have to
Absolutely
go and have a
nailed it.
look.
Yeah, absolutely nailed it. It was the not the last game, not the final, but the
Final, yep.
the one
The
and two
qualifier.
playoff
Yeah, the
qualifier,
qualifier. Yep, yep.
and he just nailed it. They just killed it. But yeah, but look, I think fantastic tournament. Lots of good runs and everything
Lots,
else.
yeah,
That
good innings.
you
That's the
know,
thing. There was that.
great
Are we
innings.
going here? Speaking of fantastic tournament, moving on to the fastest century. So that's from Mayank
Right.
Agarwal with 45 deliveries. So yeah, I
Mm,
mean, again, just pretty explosive stuff. And we look at the names popping up. The obvious Shikhar Dhawan with his two
mm,
coming in at second and third. So when he did score those centuries, he scored them pretty
mm.
quickly.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now he's a just a beautiful player to watch, and when he's going, he's just flowing, and it's great. And um, what's that
Moving
one?
along,
That
yeah. So we got
highest score,
highest innings in a game. So that was Rahul's
right?
132, which we referred to before.
Yeah.
And then we go to strike rates. If I just find that one, there we go. There. So that's I've gone. Hang on, what's happened there?
Best. That's best bowling. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
yeah. That's
That's
best batting there. Just that. Just one. Yeah,
there we
that
go.
one. Yeah.
There we go. Good thing you got good eyesight.
Yeah.
Kyron
The
Pollard was
glasses, mate. The glasses good.
glasses.
Yeah.
Yep, Kyron Pollard
There
with
you go.
just short of 200. Again,
Yeah.
that's I think, and he didn't always get big scores, but
No.
the runs that he did get, he got them really quickly,
Very
and he
quick.
just used,
Mm,
and he'd always give the Indians, well, not always, but quite often the Indians get that
mm,
big kick towards the end of that
yeah.
innings
Well,
to really sort of
yeah.
push them up.
Look, look over there. Pandya and Pollard in the top three with strike
Yeah,
rate.
yeah.
So you got, for
Two
me,
Indians.
those two.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they come in the last 4, maybe 5 overs, and they
yep.
go. Look at that, 178 and 191. To me, that's
And you're not.
massive, bro.
And
That's
you say
massive.
you're coming in with maybe 2 overs left or something, 3 overs left. So you're only going to get 20 or 30 runs at the most, but you're getting them
Mm,
quickly. Yeah.
very quickly. But
Interesting one
see,
at number
this is
two, eh?
again. Yeah, that's right. Jofra Archer. He hit a lot of sixes. I'd
He
love to
did.
know how many six. Look, 10
10.
sixes.
10 sixes.
I mean, to me, and 5 fours. They might have been one bounce six, one bounce four.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's pretty good for a bowler to come and do
Yes.
that. But to me, the biggest one here again for me is um, Mahella's got Pollard and Pandya going. You guys are our finishers. You
Yep.
come after. because Pollard could easily have batted 3 or 4 if he
3 or 4.
wanted to, or
Yeah,
Pandya for sure,
Yep.
But he's held them back and made them do a particular job. So
Yep.
look, I just love. I think another one that like these guys would have done a lot. Nicholas Puran, I think he got 100, and look, he's got 25 sixes and 23 fours, which is
Yep.
massive.
Massive.
And
Absolutely massive.
and but he didn't score that many runs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so to me, again, that's another guy who, you'll have to question if Kings 11 used him
Effectively.
that well. Yeah, because beautiful
Well, look
player.
a little bit further down. You got Mayank Agarwal, and
Yeah,
he's got 44 fours.
yeah.
What a phenomenal number
Incredible.
of fours.
What incredible. AB de Villiers, 33 and 23. Sanjay Samson, actually, he looked like he was going to take the competition by the scruff of the neck, and then
Yes.
just meandered away. He probably had 3, maybe 4 good knocks. And then you got a few others from the Indians. Sorry,
Coming
Delhi
through as
there,
well.
which is Stoinis and Hitmeyer and stuff, and they just needed to get a little bit more, rather
Get
than what
more
they
out of
did.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like Stoiner started a bit slowly at the beginning of the season.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
But
he
then
sort of did come
got
into it towards the
yes.
series, the business end,
Yeah.
let's call it.
Yeah. Got better and better, and he actually started bowling better too. And to me, that suggests a guy who's a real confidence player. Where when his
Absolutely.
batting's going well,
Yeah.
when his batting's going well, his bowling's going to be going well.
Going well as
That
well.
kind of thing.
So coming to a bit of a fun statistic, and the person who hit the furthest 6, and Nicholas Puran scoring the getting the trophy there. We'll give him a trophy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, he's actually got first 2, bro.
Yeah,
He's
first 2,
got
mate.
106 and 105.
Yeah. So we're moving on to the bowlers, and we'll see that.
Well,
Rabada.
Rabada, but then you go Bumrah Bolt.
Bolt. But then you have got Anrik Norche. So
and that's the reason. That's the reason both those teams did well, and we've got to give a shout out to Taz here and say that he was spot on when he talked about the fast bowlers going to dominate this edition of IPL because of the Abu Dhabi, Dubai pitches.
Yep.
Which is exactly what's happened. So good on you, brother. Good on you, Ted.
So there we go. Rabada, again, like KL Rahul, he seems to have lived at the top of that bowling wickets taken. So he's done quite well. And in saying that, I mean, like, if we look at Bumrah, if he had the and Bolt as well, they played a couple of matches less than Rabada.
That's right. They rested them. They rested them. Whereas I think Rabada played every game. In fact, he's got the most number of games. If you look there,
or 17's all of them, isn't it? The 17 all of them.
That's right. I don't. Well, it has to be. I think.
Has to be, isn't it? I think 17's all of them, like including the qualifiers, and the final.
That's right. So look, to me, massive workload, but big shoulders, fit as. So he did it, but I think his effectiveness was not as good because of the fact that they couldn't. They couldn't rest him. Like if they had qualified, they could have maybe rested him. Or if Delhi was going to qualify in the top 2, they could have rested that last game or something like that. But they were never safe. At one stage they might have even missed out on qualifying if someone else had won and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And interestingly enough, we were talking about Rabada playing 17, which we're quite sure is all of them. Norche has played 16, so he only played one less anyway as well. So,
So here's another one, man. I mean, hats off to these South Africans, both of them. Having that stamina to still bowl fast, still do all those things while, doing. And again, I think for me, the 2 best coaches have been Ponting and Mahela for me. They've got the best out of there.
We're going from wickets to the economy, and no surprises here. We've talked about him as well. Rashid Khan. Taz explained it to me. He's bowling unplayable deliveries at a ridiculously fast speed.
Yeah, big time. and batters don't know which way it's going. It's
We exactly, yeah.
it's
So it's
nuts.
not like he can play it off the pitch because it's too quick to play it off the
No,
pitch.
big
Yeah,
time. And I mean the way he gets his arm there, and it's like boom, and it's just a quick release there, and you don't
yep,
know if it's going here or or there, or it's just see the difference a little bit here and there. But
yep.
my goodness, it's doing something different when it gets to the other end.
Other end.
And the length was good. To me, the thing that he didn't have is if you look at Sunrisers, unfortunately, Bhuvaneswara Kumar got injured quite early,
Yep,
and to me that's massive for Rashid Khan. So he became more of a keep the runs down rather than go. Even though he got 20 wickets, which was great, but if
yep.
Bhuvi was there and got some of the openers out,
hmm
then he could
He's
have
now coming
gone
into the middle
more
order.
hunting. Yeah,
Yep,
more hunting
yep,
for the wickets.
yep.
So there were a few little things like that which didn't work out for him,
And the other
unfortunately.
factor would have been, I mean, like if you're your top class bowlers are going out, then maybe the runs are
Mm,
coming on the board. That means that the batters can be a
mm,
bit more circumspect when they're playing Rashid Khan, as opposed to saying, "Hey,
absolutely.
you can't carry on going for the whole innings at 3 runs and over. You have to
No.
take a risk and have a go at him."
Mm.
And therefore, he then comes into play in terms of wicket taking a lot more, doesn't he?
That's right. And again, for me, Aksa from Delhi, Aksa Patel, mate,
Yep, yep,
great season he had. 6.4, and you add that to Rabada and Noche's wickets, and you've got a winning team there.
yep.
And
Nearly a winning
those
team.
are nearly us. No, look, the thing is, for me as a like for Ponting, they
Yep,
they went they went to territories they'd never been before, which was to get to the final. You had to get to
yep.
the final to try and win it. So
Yep.
there were 6 other teams that didn't get to the final.
And then I mean, like,
So
just talking about Bhuvanesh Kumar. I mean, he makes it onto
yeah,
the list there in terms of
yeah,
economical bowlers. He's only played
that's
4 games.
right,
He was
that's
going for
right.
under sevens, and
Yeah, look, he's a beautiful bowler. I mean, for me, you look at fast bowlers, and this guy looks like he's a skinny little runt,
yeah,
and he bowls beautifully, and it's all skill, man. It's
yep.
all seam release, rhythm, all just pure poetry in terms of bowling. So
Hey,
you know,
speaking of Rashid Khan, have a look at this one. So this is the most economical bowling in one match in one innings. Okay, so
right.
we have a look here at that there, and it's just like, so 4 overs he's bowled 17 dot balls. So he's so my math, if my math is right, 4 times 6 is 24. So basically, yeah, he went off for
Yeah,
runs off 7 balls.
7 balls, and he got 7 runs taken off
Seven
him. So it was
runs.
all singles. And he
That's
got 3 wickets.
crazy.
Fantastic. Yeah,
I mean,
look, I mean,
we look at Bumrah and Bolt also did a similar thing as well there, but
yeah,
some of their other deliveries actually went for a few runs.
a
So
little bit more. Yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
that's crazy, isn't it? It's like
Isn't absolutely,
you bowled 17 dot balls
absolutely.
and everything else went for a single, and it's probably some of those would have been an edge,
Could well be.
short
Yeah,
fine leg
look,
coming in, short third
that's
man.
it. But he was funny because he didn't have Rashid Khan didn't have a good CPL. It was
Right,
and it
the
almost
Caribbean
looked
League.
like he
Yep.
was, yeah, he was warming up for the IPL by playing the CPL, maybe.
We got
But
now we're just going where's it gone? Best bowling strike rate. Well, I've lost it now. Best it was supposed to be best bowling innings. There we go. We've got best bowling in an innings. And that was a fifer for Varun Chakravarti.
Chakrabarti. Mm,
Hey, I
that-
got it. I was so close to getting 100% right.
that's pretty good. That's pretty
Wasn't
good. He's
it?
the bowler that uses the old carom balls everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah,
does he? Okay.
yeah. And it
Yeah.
was against
So,
Delhi too. That was one of their losses, unfortunately.
yep, Delhi Capitals at
Yeah.
Zayed cricket team there. So yeah, he was the only one to get a fifer in the tournament.
Mm, just
Everybody else
massive.
picking up. There's
Yeah.
lots of fourfers there, as you can see, with
Mm,
Bumrah, Bolt, Bumrah again,
mm,
Rabada getting in there a couple of times as well, as we saw that before in
mm.
his list
See,
as well.
it's really interesting going through stats like this because you've got someone like a Pat Cummings there, and
Yep.
he got good money. for this auction.
Yep.
But when you look at how the likes of Bolt, Rabada, for
Yep.
instance, I'm talking about the overseas fast bowlers have gone. He really
Yep.
underperformed, really,
Yep.
didn't he?
Oh, I
For the
mean
amount
Trent
of
Bolt.
money,
Yeah, Trent Bolt. I think they pick him up cheap as chips.
big time.
Yeah.
But next year, his stocks are going to be much better, and this is how some of the, not even coaches, but the players themselves will be feeling,
Yep.
you know. And this is where, for me, the not a criticism, but I don't think they're that savvy. Some of these IPL franchises, they go, "Oh, Pat Cummins, best Test bowler. Yeah, he's going to be great for the IPL." Not sure,
Not sure. He's
you
a
know.
test bowler. It's just
He's a
sort of there.
Test
Yeah.
bowler.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not, he's become the best Test bowler because he bowls a great length just
Yep.
outside off,
Yep.
and he's predictable. But
Yep.
he's bloody good. He bowls that bloody fast, and
Yep.
really with a lot of stuff going on with the ball. Whereas, to be good in the IPL, you've got to have so many other weapons like the slower ball bouncer and the slower ball and the Yorker and all of those other things. Or maybe he had a rookie coach in McCallum, so maybe he didn't get the best out of him. Who
Best out
knows?
of him. It
You
could
know?
be exactly what we're saying.
Yeah,
What we're talking about before in terms of is it spend your money with your coach.
that's right.
That's it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
and then give
See,
the
so
coach the players he wants.
that's it. And look, I mean, McCallum's, to me, he's going to be great at the coaching side of things. But it's, at the end of the day, he is still just pretty much a rookie.
Yep. Yep.
And
Still
he's
learning the trade.
that's right. I think
Yep.
so. I
Now we
think you
just
got
we
fastest.
had
Yeah.
we had a bit of fun facts with the biggest six. So now we've got the fastest bowler.
Yeah.
So Norche there with 156.22. So yeah,
Lockie's on that.
yeah, Lockie's on there. He obviously got injured, right? Because in
Yeah, it's
terms
an
of
interesting.
the most bowled fast deliveries, he was on that list for at the top of the list for quite a while.
Mm. And
So
when he played, he was incredible
he was on fire.
for
Yep.
yeah. So look, I don't know. I mean, who knows what's happened to them? But
What's happened? Yep.
yeah, I mean, when he's playing and when he's playing well, I think he's right up there in my top 5 fast bowlers in the white ball for me, T20 or 50 overs. I
Yep.
think he's right up there.
Yeah. Yeah. We
For
love
me,
watching him play.
oh, such a good boy. Just a wonderful gentleman. And to me, the thing with him is he strikes me as someone like a McGrath who, the more he bowls, the better he'll be. It's not
Yep.
about the fitness in terms of the gym or this or that. It's just the amount of bowling in games is going to be the one thing that keeps him really on par
On par.
or
Yeah,
above par.
but yeah, keep him going and improving,
That's
improving, and
right.
just
That's
getting
right.
that desire to. You get that desire of bowling more and more and more and more.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. So who knows? Who knows?
So it's like I don't know. Maybe it's been because of the COVID year.
Mm,
Anrich Norche, not a name that I've actually
no,
heard of, to be honest. So where has
no.
he come from? Do you know much about him?
No. I think he's played. He's been in the South African setup, and he's been there and thereabouts.
Yep.
And I don't think he quite makes the top 11 every time, but he has done something where he's suddenly got his pace up to such an extent that I think South Africa will find it hard to leave him out now.
Well, I mean, like the
But
performances that he's put in. I mean, we had a look at the previous table. So not only has he got the speed, but he picked
mm,
up the wickets as well. So
mm,
yeah, look,
he wasn't that good. He wasn't that good. I remember seeing him in games against Australia in Test matches and one days and so on, and he wasn't as consistent or as good as I've seen him in this tournament.
yeah,
Like some of the thinking behind the slow ball bounces, Yorkers, just good pace deliveries where, you miss, I hit, that kind of
back,
thing at 150 or 150 plus,
yeah,
mate.
yeah.
That's that's hard,
Comes back to the coaches
Yeah, how well are
getting the
they
best out of
using
your
them?
players.
Big time. Because I mean, again, you look at South African coaches. That's Mark Boucher at the
Yep,
moment, and I think he's done a bit of first class, but
yep.
internationally he's pretty green. So who knows, man? Who knows?
Who knows?
Mm.
Who knows? Well, we've used up about 45 minutes, about three-quarters of the show
Oh,
talking about the IPL,
IPL, mate. IPL.
and we could probably do the whole show on it if
The
we
whole
really
show.
wanted to, couldn't we? Easily,
Completely,
easily.
completely. Look, it's fascinating. I mean, it'll be actually really interesting to see what the viewers watch and what they get. But I mean, to me, you could follow the IPL by even just watching the highlights. The highlights on either the website or the Sky TV. Half an hour.
Or getting your updates on the morning sports briefing on New Zealand
Big
Sport Radio.
time.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's just but
oh,
mate,
yeah,
for me the viewership in terms of watching an IPL game,
yeah.
like a T20 highlights package. Oh, it's like half an hour where you're like this because you don't want to miss anything because it's just
Actually, one of the things that's, I mean, like, I think I don't, and I'm not just having a go at cricket on this one. Every sport seems to now have invested in the hyperbole of what's happening on the field, and that, and so there's been some absolutely phenomenal fielding efforts or catches or fielding in the
mm,
outfield that's happened. I mean, a bit over the top in terms of the commentators calling it the best thing you'll ever see type thing, but still,
yeah.
that aside, it's still great stuff to watch, isn't it? And I mean, like,
Mm.
you know, catches being taken over the boundary, thrown back to other players, all
Oh,
sorts, or just ripper catches all
no,
over the
just
show. So
as a coach, for me, they do things which are groundbreaking.
yep,
Not done before. Short ball, and they're hitting it. They're hitting it like this. They're hitting
yep,
it like that. So they're actually
yep.
hitting it. So the ball's here going up, and they're hitting it like that. And to me, things like that, which I've never thought about even, and now we're coaching it to to others, which is just yeah.
That's it. So it's
Mm,
the evolution. It just carries
that's
on,
it,
and
big
I mean,
time.
I suppose, especially for now, for us that have grown up watching Test cricket from the 70s and
Mm.
80s, you sort of think, oh, surely they can't. That's it. Innovation. That's it. But it's just like there's new innovation just coming along constantly. There's
Oh,
something different in the way that
oh, mate.
they're approaching the game.
Oh, big time. Look,
Yeah.
every IPL season, I just go, whoa. The things they do. Even the bowlers. Some of the slow balls, um, some of the way they used to bowl. That normally the seam up is there, but
Yep.
their fingers are going there.
Yep. Yep.
And it's coming seam up, but it's so
Team
much
up.
slower because it's
Yep.
going back
It's
of the
rolling
hand,
out of the hand. Yeah,
rolling
back
out
of
of
the
the
hand.
hand like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
fast bowlers doing that. You know what I
Yep.
mean? There's
Yep.
just so many things like that, which I've
I
just
mean,
been astounded
I
with.
have a, I think, I mean, not that I've noticed. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't, but I noticed this first outside of the IPL, and I think it was my mind's gone blank as a New Zealand bowler. The knuckleball in terms of just holding it with your thumb and your little finger, and it's just like she's got to have big
Oh
hands.
yeah, oh
I
yeah,
can hardly grip the damn ball. I can hardly grip the ball when
that's
I'm trying to
right.
hold it like that.
That's right. I think Wagner might have done that
Oh,
in
no,
a
it's a guy
game.
from Canterbury. No, it's a bowler out of
Oh, was
Canterbury.
it someone else? Was it
Was
not
that?
Matt
Yeah, was
Henry?
it Henry? Yeah, it must have been Matt Henry. It'd have to be Matt
Okay.
Henry. He's the only
No, but
real bowler out of Canterbury, isn't
yeah.
he? I mean, no, I don't mean
Hopefully,
that in a derogatory way. I just mean at a Black Caps level. At a Black Cap level, I'm just trying to think of another Canterbury bowler that's at Black Caps level at
Andy
the moment.
was it Andrew Ellis? Andy Ellis was another
Oh
one who
no, but
played
it's
a
only in the
little
last
bit.
couple of years. So Alice,
Okay,
yeah, but it was actually
from a
doing it
while
at
ago.
the IPL, not the IPL, sorry, in the T20 matches and the like. So
Right.
yeah,
Oh, mate, the skill level and just the experience and the experimenting and just expanding your mind to get there.
yep.
Outstanding, eh? Outstanding.
So
Mm.
we'll move on to the what the PSL has got one match left, and just going to bring up this morning's match with Lahore Qalandars. got in over the Multan Sultans. So this
Yeah.
was the eliminator too.
Yes.
So
I think I
the
watched the highlights on this one. Yeah.
yep.
They
Yeah,
were chasing.
it's unfortunate Taz can't be on there because I know that he would have been following this very
Yeah.
closely.
Yeah.
So,
I think they were chasing
yep.
and they couldn't get there because
So
they just lost
basically,
a few too many wickets.
So this morning, when we're doing the morning sports briefing,
Mm,
it was basically the game was in the balance.
right.
The Sultans were needing 10 runs and over, and they were achieving 10 runs and over.
Yeah.
And they basically just shortly after it, they lost a couple of wickets, and it all
Mm,
fell off the rails. So
yes.
with about 12 overs, 13 overs to 12 overs, 13 overs gone, they were right in the game, right in the game.
Mm,
But the difference here was David Weiss for the
yes.
Quilanders. And
Yes.
if we have a look, if I
Yeah. He
went
got
on,
Bopara out. He got
oh
and he
yeah,
got a
actually,
fantastic catch off Russo out on the boundary.
yep. But there
Mm,
was actually it started. He started the role with the batting though, because
right.
the Quilanders were looking on target to sort of have almost a below par score,
Mm,
um, and just the 48 of 21 deliveries, striking
oh.
at 228. It just gave them
Mm,
that impetus that basically not only just put it above
mm,
par, that's just like put pressure onto the Sultans
mm.
to really perform. And I said
Yeah.
they
Good
yeah,
cricketer, that guy, David Weiser.
yep,
I really like him. The things he's done. I think he's been more of a county
count,
cricketer
yep,
who's played a few other leagues, but
yep,
generally plays county and then whatever else is going rather
going
than
around the world sort of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Because then I mean like if we with the Sultans at the top of the innings actually they were going along all right, as I said, they were going
mm,
along at the run rate or close enough to it, but as I
mm.
said, they had
The
Rousseau who was
Yorkshireman,
there at the wicket and Bopara
yeah, yeah, bang
come
bang.
in and yeah gone exactly
Mm,
bang bang, and then basically as we can see there was nothing left in the tail,
no,
so that's
yeah.
what
See,
happened there. And
this is where for me, even some of the things in test matches or one days we talk about, one guy being not out. For me, anyone who's worth his salt as a batsman in a
yep,
white ball game, you want to be not out when the winning run is scored, or
yeah,
you score the winning run, or you are not out. So what that means is you've made sure that you've chased it down, kind of like what Kohli used to do quite a bit in the
yep,
last 10 years. Michael Bevan, we can give you so many
Tony,
of those. Dhoni, you had before him Lance Klusner, who used to do it. He
yeah,
was not
yeah,
out
yeah,
when they
he
chased
did,
him.
yeah,
You know, all those things. And to me, that is imperative to have someone like that in your team. And, for me, you should pay good money to have someone like that, because they'll win you games,
yep.
because they're just calm. They know that they've got more time than you realize. So that the risks they take is much less until they have to take that risk, and they are good enough to take that risk
Take the risk.
when it comes on.
Yep,
So
yep. It's the
yeah,
timing.
look, it's the timing,
Yep,
because you don't want to take that risk too early
yep.
because you won't
Because
even
then you
get near. you
and if
know
you go out, you expose your other batters too early, etc., and the
Absolutely.
like. Yep, and they got too
Absolutely.
much to do. So, but interestingly
Absolutely.
enough, here the Sultans actually finished top of the table,
Right.
and so they lost the first qualifier match to the Karachi Kings, and so the Karachi Kings went directly through to the final. Multan Sultans got that second opportunity, but the wheels obviously fell off at playoff time because then they went and lost in that game this morning to the Quilanders. The Quilanders, um, they played in the first eliminator against the Peshawar Zalmi,
Mm. Absolutely.
and that so they basically have sort of on the rise there, and they will now face the Karachi Kings
In the final.
on the 18th of November in the final,
Right.
and that's basically the players we've got coming up, and we can see there's some good names there, and I mean Alex Hale's
Whoa.
there for
Mm.
Karachi, and Ben Dunk for Lahore, so
Mm.
some good international, and obviously Babar Azam coming in there
Mm.
for now for Karachi as well, with
Mm.
the games against Zimbabwe over, so he gets to
Oh
come back,
yeah,
and we'll see what difference he makes for Karachi.
for sure.
Be interesting.
And Muhammad Amir, you've got some good bowlers in there as well. I love Shaheen Afridi. He's
Shaheen
another good
Afridi, yep. Yep.
Left armour, quality left armour. Faka Zaman. So yeah, look, it's actually I'll never forget. I read McCallum's book, and he said that he played after he retired from Test cricket. He played all the leagues, and he
Yes,
played
he did. Went around the world. Yep.
Pakistani, and he said the local players, the skill level of the local players, Pakistan Super League was the best,
Yep.
which was quite a interesting thing
Comment
that
to
we
make. Yep.
don't really, we don't think about. But the skill
Yep.
level of these guys, some of them, just astonishing.
It's interesting because Taz has actually alluded to that too, in terms of the fact
Mm,
that there's like the number of players that young players that come through and are in Pakistan cricket, but for one reason
mm.
or another, they just don't get those opportunities
Ah,
at
it's
that next level.
politics, man. It's
Politics,
just,
absolutely. Yep.
look, I mean, the two teams that are really make me frustrate is Pakistan, obviously, and then South Africa in big tournaments, because they're so capable between the tournaments, and then at the tournaments they somehow find a way to fall over.
All
You
over.
know,
Yep. Yep.
but Pakistan, they always say predictably unpredictable, because you just don't know
Absolutely.
what's going to happen.
Absolutely. Oh, I mean, how
you
many
know.
times have we mentioned the game New Zealand versus Pakistan in Hamilton when Wasim
Oh
and
yeah.
Waka
Oh
and they
man.
bowled New Zealand out for like 90
Unreal.
something, and New Zealand
Oh,
only needed 100. I mean, that whole series that they come over here, this is like predictably unpredictable, and this is like here we
oh,
go, Pakistan really crashing out, and then out of nowhere,
boom.
boom,
That's it.
Waka and
But
Wasim
but
skilling the team.
I don't know if it's just me and the fact that I'm a bit of a cricket tragic, but I remember the ball that Waka Yunus bowled to Rod Latham, and then
Yeah.
the look on Rod Latham's face after he's bowled him. He didn't see it pretty much. It was a thunderbolt, and
Yep.
it went straight, and then it swung and took middle pin out, and Latham's like going, what just happened, kind of thing. You know,
What happened there?
I
What happened?
wish, yeah, I wish we could show some of these stuff that we talk about. You know what I mean? It's too hard.
Oh,
It's too hard
you
to
just
do, but
if we can find it, we can show it.
yeah, find it
Yep.
before
But
or
just in
something.
case, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. We've done a
mm,
couple of videos. So if you do know about a video beforehand,
yeah.
let me know and I can get it ready. I can
Yeah, the
cue it.
thing is, we talk about stuff and we just keep talking, and then suddenly something pops in your mind.
It
It's
pops into
more
your
to,
head exactly. I know.
but
No,
it's all good, man.
that's the PSL final on the 18th of November. That, as I said, is between Karachi Kings and the Lahore Qalandars.
Philanders.
So that'll be. I think that's actually going to be a good
When is
game to
it?
watch. And interesting enough, these games are actually being played in Pakistan.
Mm,
So
absolutely.
all the internationals have actually gone to Pakistan to play. So hopefully
Mm,
we. I know there's talk now about COVID aside,
mm,
games going back to Pakistan to be played. So hopefully we start to see that happen.
mm.
It'd be good to see.
Yeah, look, and hopefully that happens, because I mean, you don't want to see a country not play their international
In their
games in their home country.
home country. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, yeah. Only thing is, you can't. I mean, just one point that I'd like to make with not wanting to monopolize the IPL thing, but the viewership in the IPL this year was the highest
Yep.
because of the fact that there was no crowd there.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
in essence, the TV companies were happy, the sponsors were happy, everyone else was happy because they're still making a packet in terms of that
Yeah. In fact,
whole
they're making
viewership.
more. Yep.
We're probably
Yep.
making more. And look, I think we probably needed Mr. Nifula to give his money side of things, because he'll know exactly the ramifications of all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Because Ganguly, being the chairman of BCCI or whatever it is, he'd be happy as, because
Yep.
everyone's, as long as the
Everything's up.
sponsors are happy, mate,
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
worried.
And the sponsors are
So
getting their TV coverage, so they're happy.
that's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
the only ones that aren't happy are the fans because they
Yeah,
can't go to
because they
because
couldn't
let's
be
face it,
there
real fans love to go to the ground and watch a sport.
big time.
This
Yeah,
is
and
like people that say, "Oh, watching it on TV at home is just the
no,
same." It's like,
not the same.
no,
No,
it's not
not
the
the same.
same. If you can be at a ground, it doesn't matter
Yeah,
what your sport is, if you can go to the ground to watch your sport that you
mm,
love, it's so much better.
yeah, completely agree. Absolutely agree. Yeah.
Alrighty, well, with the sort of 13 seconds we have left, we'll quickly run over the old Plunkett Shield. I,
Well,
I,
Plunkett Shield's an interesting one because I mean
yes,
I follow the Aces because of where we live and the fact that absolutely on the money and the fact that we actually know some of the players and whatever
yeah,
and we
yeah.
want them to do
You
well.
do.
Yeah. And it was just so annoying for me to see that finally Mr. Conway had decided to score
Yeah,
some runs.
and Mr. Bracewell decides to join him. I mean, what's that about?
Yeah,
It's just like,
that's
let's
his
play him back
first.
into form.
Mate, Bracewell, that's his first, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's his first 100 in first class cricket. Sorry, for Wellington. And
Yeah.
he's played for Wellington for about 4 seasons. So it's just so unfortunate that it's us. But having said that, we fought back and we're 109 for two. So,
Yeah. But I can
if
only
we
see this
can.
game going one way, right? I mean, we've got we say we
No,
us
but how many
impartial
days?
commentators here.
Oh, yeah, day three. Is it day three
Day,
finished
it'll be day three, so it'll be day four to this last day.
tomorrow?
So basically, Auckland
Oh,
trailing by 58.
yeah, it's
Um,
tough.
I mean, they'll get in front. Obviously, well, they better get in front, right? Otherwise, we're going to be really.
Mm. No, we have to get
I mean,
we have to get 250, 200 ahead.
yeah,
So we have to score. So we have to go for it tomorrow morning
yeah.
and put them in and hope for
How
maybe the
many
spinners or
how many overs in a day is 110?
yeah. I'm pretty sure that's right.
I think it's
Yeah.
110 overs in a day. So, yeah, look, I
Yeah.
mean, it's still Wellington in the box seat there
Mm,
to pick up an outright. Still, really, I feel there it'll be basically
mm,
making sure Auckland doesn't. Auckland for us, we're making sure they don't collapse. And if they don't collapse, then it'll be a case of what do they set Wellington to chase,
mm, mm.
and possibly eke out a surprising victory there. But I mean,
Yeah.
just looking at that Wellington innings, as you can see, the stands out like red lights at the top of a sky
No,
tower there.
that's
Devon
true.
Conway with
Yeah.
157, Michael Bracewell with 142, and then really, I
Yeah.
mean, young husband um,
Mm,
down the bottom with 41,
41.
but nobody else really contributing
No.
anything much there, really, is there?
No.
So
Yeah.
you
Look,
have to wonder if
and
there was any
and that's
chances that would let go.
well, that's the thing. I mean, for me, if you can get those two early in the second innings,
Yeah.
then anything's possible, And let's see who got the wickets. I think it looks
Yep.
like,
Jamison picked
and
up 5. Yeah, Jamison picked
oh
up a 5 for
mate,
again.
he's unreal.
He's good.
What a
Yes, absolutely.
just on fire, isn't he? And that's
He
great. And
is.
Somerville got two, but to me, that's on a fourth day wicket. If
Look
somebody
how many
can,
overs. 50
yeah,
overs. Yeah.
and he's
Yep.
got two for 137. So
Yep.
not a bad effort. And I mean, to be fair, Auckland didn't play their last game. All 4 days were rained out.
Rained out.
So
Yep.
so I mean,
I'll tell
yeah,
you what's a
there's every
concern.
chance, every
I'll
chance,
tell you
man.
what. Tell you what's a concern though. I mean, because the talk was that Blundell's going to be picked as an opener for the
Yes,
test, but
yes,
he hasn't. He struggled. He hasn't put
yeah. He
any
got
runs
that
on the board.
100. He got that
Yep. He got
100
one.
when he
Yep.
handled the ball,
Handled the ball.
but
Other
but
than that, it's been
yeah,
the penthouse or the outhouse for Blundell.
yeah. Looks
So
like the
that's a
cursed.
bit of counsel.
Looks like the cursed position, Ashwin.
Yeah.
you become you become the opener of the Black Caps, and then you can't score runs.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway,
We'll
but
see. Well, does
maybe
somebody else? We'll see
Conway,
somebody else gets it.
maybe Conway has to open.
You think they'd throw him
Just
in there? I couldn't see
well,
it happening. Tell you the truth. I mean, I don't know.
the thing is this: they're trying to. To me, there's Nickel, Will,
I want to say
Will
Jordan. I know. Well, yeah,
nah,
yes. Yeah, I
from
know who you mean.
CD
CD.
and
Actually, let's bring up that.
Conway. Yeah, so those three are vying for the number 5 position,
Yep.
which is
I'll bring up the CD.
Will Young.
Will Young.
Yeah,
There you go.
But look, but then I mean, he was on fire last year when his shoulder was a bit of an issue, but
Yes.
he looks
Yes.
like he hasn't.
So
really
this is probably
kicked on.
this is the match where it's going to be manufactured.
Yes.
Going into the last day, and Northern, obviously Central declaring behind to try and make a match of it.
Mm,
It was Northern 158 for 4. Realistically speaking, they're going to obviously put some runs on the board and then ask Central to sort of have a
chase it.
go. And then it'll be a
Mm,
case of whether Central decides, nah, that's too much of an ask and closes up shop, or whether
mm.
they actually have a go.
Nah, look, it's actually in your best interest to have a go because if you
Yep.
get there, you get the full points. If you don't, then at least the others get it. You know what I mean?
Well, and not only that, but I mean, like if you have a go, you're more likely still making more runs than if you didn't, and you do get
Mm,
bonus points for scoring runs. So the
mm.
incentive is there to actually, even if you end up getting bundled out, getting as many runs as you can is still a good incentive, even if you can't get to the
Big time,
total. Yep.
and for your confidence, and
Yep.
and the positive way to play cricket. So yeah, but again, it's not good to see Jeet not get
I was
some
going to say,
runs
yeah,
there.
it's not working for Jeet at the moment, and
No,
obviously
how
he
did he?
started off okay with the first match. Got a
Yeah,
good double there, and I think he even might have been the
that's
next match.
true.
But after that, the wheels have come
Hasn't
off a
come.
little bit.
How did he go in the second innings? Because he looks like he's batted
Let's have a look.
already.
He probably has. So he's got 63
Oh,
in the
good.
second innings.
At least
So that's
something.
good that
Yeah.
he's got something on the board there.
Got a
But
50.
I know he'll
Yeah.
be wanting to, and especially
Get a
with the type
100.
of batter that Raval's out, yeah, he would have wanted to follow that, get that through to 100, wouldn't he?
Big
He's
time.
he's basically playing that anchor type position in the longer
Mm,
format in particular.
mm.
So
Nah, look, yeah, I wish him well because, good bloke. And hopefully
yeah,
he can. But I think Canterbury's the one that's making the
Canterbury's on
play, aren't
fire.
they?
Canterbury's
Yeah.
on fire.
Look at that.
Again,
I mean, I know Otago's been the whipping boys, but
yep,
still,
yep.
6 wickets and,
Six
that's
wickets away from an
game
outright.
over.
Yep, that's it.
Mm,
And I mean, Otago's still a lot of runs behind. It's not even like
mm,
even if they do get ahead, Canterbury will have a small target to try and chase down. And
mm.
have you played at Alexandra?
Yes, we have played at Alexandra Park.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely setting, Central Otago. Not a huge ground, so to speak, but
Yep.
good pitch, good bouncy wicket.
And a good pitch to bat on, from
Oh
what
yeah,
I understand. Yeah.
absolutely. It does. It might turn on day 4 a little bit because it
Yep.
does break up a little bit. I'd say definitely did. I think we played a 2-day game, and the end of the 2-day game, it was turning. But yeah, look, it's. I mean, yeah, Canterbury all the way there, really.
I
Um,
think so. Yeah, it's going to
mm,
be it's it's like,
and
yeah. And the fact is that they're going to have a good lead going into the break. So basically, what happens now is that the Plunket Shield goes on a bit of a break as they play
yeah,
the 50 over and
white
the Super
ball.
Smash
Mm, mm,
tournaments, and
that's right.
so Canterbury will come back with a substantial lead on
Lead,
the Plunket
yeah,
Shield table.
for sure. Yeah, look, I mean, and the biggest thing with me for Canterbury, I don't know if Matt Henry played this game, but they just seem to.
No, he
They're
didn't.
fast bowlers. Look at that, and I think
Oh, hang
Cole
on, I'll bring
Cole
up
got.
I'll bring up
Oh
the
yeah, Cole got
yeah.
one, but there's
So that's the second innings. He's you've got actually
uh,
the regular suspects and Williams and Sheet haven't got anything in the second innings. But
no
if we go and have a
first
look at the
innings they
first innings,
probably did. Yeah,
yep, two and three. So
yeah, two,
Ned
three,
Nuttall, I
three.
think Ned Nuttall coming back.
That's good. I mean, for me, that's like the first 3 bowlers getting 2, 3, and 3. Game over. That's 8 wickets gone.
That's who you're wanting to get the wickets
Yeah,
in it.
that's it.
No.
And the rest of them, Cole got one, and Van Workham got one. So, yeah, look, I mean, this is what they're doing really well for me, and yeah, good on them. Good on them for
We have a
because
look at the yeah,
because
sorry, carry on.
Auckland. I think the one would be when Auckland play Canterbury, and if we can beat them and stop them getting points, and we get points, that'll be
Yep,
the key
that'll be
game in
closing
my
that
view.
table up. Yep, that's
Yeah.
right. But
Mm,
yeah, we look at the table and it's just like pretty good knock there from McClure there, who's
mm,
trying to build his way back into the Canterbury squad from what I
yeah.
read during the week.
Yeah, he's a good player, and
Yep.
he gets big hundreds. So good on him. And Henry Nichols, 87, good on him.
Yes,
So he's
we want to see
playing.
that from a Black Caps point of view for
Yeah,
sure.
look,
Yep.
and this is for me. You can't drop Henry Nichols and put Conway in there just because Conway's scoring runs. Henry is
You
the
know,
incumbent.
but the thing is with Henry Nichols is that if you talk to most fans, particularly out of Christchurch or out of Canterbury region, they would nobody would talk up Henry Nichols, right? But when you go back to whether it's
Oh,
ODIs or Test matches, he actually does
oh,
perform in let's
mate.
call it the black jersey.
Mm. Look,
Playing for New Zealand, he does deliver.
yeah, look, they in the World Cup, I felt sorry for him because they played him at opener,
Yep.
and he had proved himself in that 5-6 area,
Yep.
and he knew how to play in that area. And
Yep.
and you look at the way he plays, and I used to think, how's he scoring runs? But he's just got,
He just does.
he does. He's got his own method, and he plays really square or through
Yeah.
the leg side or whatever. But he's got his method, but he sticks to it, and he's got the thing I love about him is his running between wickets. He is just a whippet between wickets, and
Yep.
those kind of things, that's his trademark. And to me, we don't want to lose that. And I really like him at that number 5 area. He's won a lot of games for
Well, I
New
was just going
Zealand,
to say,
and
one thing you alluded to before was the fact that when we're talking about Pollard, and coming in,
mm,
and it's just like it's being the not out batsman, right? And it's
that's
just like you're
right.
coming in at 5 and 6, you want to be the not out
Yeah,
batsman because you want to
that's it.
see that innings all the way through. And the thing is with Nichols is that he does start slow. He does start slow,
Mm,
but that's fine because at
that's
the end of the
fine.
day, when you look at a scoring rate, when it comes to the last
Mm,
4, 5, 6 overs,
mm,
he's scoring at a great rate and he's turning the
mm.
strike over as well. So
Big time. And
yep,
we've done as a New Zealand Black Caps team, we've done well with our Test cricket because of people like Henry Nichols, people like BJ
yep,
Watling, who
yeah.
to me
BJ Watt
such an
can,
such an underrated player.
well,
People
you
don't
get
talk about it.
the way that BJ Watling, I mean, we digress here, but BJ Watling, the way that he bats with the tail, I mean,
Oh,
I mean, Bolt comes in at number 11 and scores
he's
runs, and
still
Watling's at the other end making, and it's just, he
and
just, the number of runs we get at the tail is amazing.
mm, and the thing with Watling is he's done that in different areas. Like he's done that against Pakistan in Abu Dhabi and stuff, in Dubai, Sharjah, whatever. He's done that in New Zealand. He's done that. The only place really is Australia where they have it. That extra bounce has always
To be fair, no New
got
Zealand
them there.
did much
No,
in Australia.
no,
You didn't have to bring that up, you know.
no. I know, but that's the challenge.
Yeah.
That's our final frontier almost.
Yeah, but to be fair, and I still, I mean, there's other factors, and as you said, our financial man on our show, Mr. Nathula, he sort of brings that reality into it. But um, I I just don't think that our management at NZC do enough organisation and planning around sending our team to Australia. They need to have warm up games,
Well,
multiple warm up games.
especially the last tour.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
which to me was, I don't
They set
think,
them up to fail.
yeah. No, and the other thing, Ashwin, is I don't think they realized at that time of year how many Kiwis were going to go across the Tasman to support our team.
Yep,
Mate, I did. I
yep.
did. My
Oh, my
brother
cousin
did.
went. Oh, Rohit, who's been on the show,
Yeah,
he went. He went with a few mates.
there's so many that went, and we made a trip of it, and we loved it. For the first 20 minutes of the bloody that Melbourne test. And then after that, it was just,
Uh,
it was hard. It was harder. But then
yeah,
even watching, oh yeah, Williamson's going to bat tomorrow. So well, let's go in and have a look.
yep.
And he's out. And everyone who we thought would do well just didn't. But having said that, in terms of the level of cricket, the way the Aussies played, another
But
level,
as
man.
we say, look, I mean, at the end of the day, the bounce is so much more different over there. And
Mm,
when you look at the England's and India, maybe not this series, obviously coming up, but England go a month before the Ashes. They play
mm,
how many games there before they actually start
mm.
playing? So they acclimatise, and you're
Yeah.
starting to see those
The
results
only,
now when England
yeah.
tours there.
for sure. The only thing is, like, we don't know, because as we know, that the devil is in the detail, and maybe they asked, and maybe they got given, somewhere in the outskirts where the pitch might not be the same, replicating the same bounce as the
Yep.
MCG, and
Yep.
not meaningful opposition, or
Yeah,
whatever. We
no,
don't
but
know.
I get that. I get that, but you're still, there's but one of the other big factors in Australia is the climatic conditions. So
The
you're
heat,
still acclimatizing
mm,
yourself to that
mm,
the climate that you're going
for
to be
sure.
encountering, and particularly when they went, that was one of Australia's hotter summers that they've had as well.
Mm,
So yeah,
yeah.
you can't expect to go from a New Zealand summer, which is, yeah, sure, it's warm, but it's not Australia
Mm.
warm, isn't it?
No, no. Mind you, what was it? Today's Monday. The Saturday was pretty warm during the day.
Yeah.
It was hot as, man, club cricket wise. Look, I don't. I know we're running out of time, but Simon came up a couple of times. I don't know if you want
Yep.
to mention his
Oh no,
comments. I don't know.
basically, yeah. No, Simon was just sort of commenting on in terms of our what we were saying about be great for
Oh yeah,
Pakistan to be playing those home games instead of all the games in the UAE that
out
are
of
happening.
Emirates.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
for
basically
sure.
saying that. But unfortunately, we can't really talk about this because we haven't got the players from either of those sides here to talk about that. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
Dale
think Aaron's
caught
just going to get a
Netala.
dig in there for one Mr. Dale getting caught by T. Nathula. Second innings, Mr. Dale caught by one P. Ranshod off the bowling, and T. Nathula scoring 40 in Qmu's first innings.
First
So
innings.
yeah,
Interesting.
maybe looking like T. Nathula wanting to make a comeback for the Black Caps.
Very good. Yeah. Hopefully he can make a comeback for us and join us.
Yeah,
Bloody Taran.
exactly. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That'd be good. Yeah.
No, good. I haven't seen him in ages, but I keep bumping into people that know him, and they say,
Yep.
"Oh, say hello to Taran." I say, "Yeah, whenever I see him
When I
next."
see him.
But
So maybe we need to get him onto the show just so that we can pass on all the hellos that we've got to pass
yeah,
on
that's
from people
right.
that he knows.
That's right. Now, look, it's been a pleasure, man. Always a
Yep.
good yarn talking cricket
No,
with
thanks.
you, brother.
Oh, look, thanks for coming on the show, and yeah,
No,
really
pleasure.
appreciate it. And it's as Aaron said in one of his comments previously, is just that the knowledge that you bring, Taryn, as well, Adrian, all you guys
Mm,
bring up fantastic knowledge, which
thank you.
I don't have.
Oh, look, it's just being in the game, really,
Been in the game,
Ashwin.
absolutely.
For
Yep,
I mean, 35, yeah, almost 35, 40 years.
yep,
Maybe not 40
yep.
years, 35 years, and playing, coaching, being immersed in it, and and you just love it. I mean, I think
Yep,
cricket's one of those games. It's in your blood or not, and I think all those
absolutely.
guys you mentioned, they've got it in their
Oh,
blood
they
when they
love
talk
it, love it.
about it.
Yeah,
You
there's
know.
just the passion,
Mm,
passion that you and, yeah, as I said, the names that I mentioned have for the game. It
mm,
just as you say, immerse yourself in it. So
mm.
now, look, thanks again for having me on the show, coming on the
My
show,
pleasure, man.
and we'll get you, schedules allowing. Hopefully, we'll get you back again next
Yeah,
week,
for
and
sure,
we'll
for
talk some
sure,
more cricket for getting everybody's cricketing fix of the week. And
for
yeah, to
sure.
everybody out
But before
there.
I
Oh
go,
yep, oh yep.
happy
Hang on, wait, bring you back in.
happy 50th birthday, brother.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thanks. Where's my present?
I had to, yeah, I had to get that in. I think Nicola asked me to put it in there, so I just about forgot. So good on you, mate. You
Thanks,
look
mate.
like you're bloody early 30s, brother. So you're doing well.
Oh, that's just the new light that I got for the show. I got a nice new light here that lights me up a bit with the
Yeah,
makeup and
right.
everything.
No, good
All
on
right.
you.
Now, thanks, and again, thanks to everybody for tuning in for the show. And make sure that you're tuning in to New Zealand Sport Radio, 7 o'clock in the morning for the morning sports briefing to catch up on what your news is for the day, sports news for the day. We'll bring you those results that have happened overnight and all sorts of sports. Making sure you're tuning into the shows that are happening. There's a few shows that have obviously shut down with their sports finishing, so to speak, for the season, but rugby's still going. We've got the old previews happening. We've got the Mitre 10 Cup finals coming up this weekend. and it'll be a fortnight's time before the All Blacks try and get over and try and make
Get
up
some revenge.
for their for the performances that they've put in so far. So make sure you're tuning into New Zealand Sport Radio, and we'll see you back here on Swinging from the Hip for your cricketing fix next Monday at 8 o'clock.